What has the last year and a half been like for you? Because I think most people have been hunkered down at home, but you've been so busy, you've been out there filming, promoting things. Tell us a little bit about the experience.
Yeah, well, I did get a lot of time at home. What was strange was we were actually a month into filming The Last Duel when the pandemic hit. So we were, like everyone, forced to kind of sit down for 5 or 6 months before we picked back up. So, um, when we picked back up in the September, and I just remember how grateful everyone was to be back on a set and working, and then was very fortunate enough to start help in the January, which was when we'd just gone into the third lockdown. So it's surreal as well because all the projects came out within a month of each other. So I think it probably looks like I've been way busier than what I have been. But just feel incredibly lucky that I was able to be a part of these projects that I really, really care about in a time when a lot of things were up in the air and we weren't really certain that we'd be able to get back on a set because it is incredibly intimate, so yeah, just very grateful for that.
Of course. And you made your film festival debut as well, right? At Venice. I was there. Tell me a little bit about that. What a glamorous debut.
I know. It was very surreal. It was lovely because what was my first film festival, and also obviously having spent a lot of time away from those kinds of events, I feel like I came back with a new appreciation for what those things are and they can be. I felt strangely calm, which was surreal, but I really just kind of soaked it all up and took it in, and was back in a cinema with a lot of people, which I really, really, really missed, and thought I was going to be way more nervous about watching a film with a lot of people, but it wasn't that bad. But it was just great to be back with the team and to celebrate, and to speak about the film that we created.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk more about The Last Duel later on as well, just because it is fantastic, and you are just you're magnificent in it. I think it's going to be I'm not going to be surprised to see more of you later in award season for your role. You were brilliant. But I just want to sort of, reflect a little bit as well in terms of kind of coming up within the UK industry, and all the shows that you've sort of worked on over time. You kind of got your start in things like Holby City, Waterloo Road, Doctors. How key are those programs for people who are coming up in the industry? How did it sort of affect you, I suppose, early on in your career?
Oh my God, I feel like they're essential. And I feel like there's like an inside joke within the UK of like, that it's kind of a duty that you have to do to to like get into the industry, that I think like most people have done an episode of Holby or Casualty, or they're so ingrained in the culture here. When you grow from those experiences, I remember doing those kind of coming in for something for one episode and looking at the rest of the cast and being like, oh wow, these guys get to come in every day and like all have really solid relationships with each other and characters that they can live in for a good amount of time. And so then, I remember when I got my role in Mad Fat Diary, and that was the first series I ever got. And I was like, oh, amazing. I'm going to spend 5 months with a group of actors similar to my own age and get to explore this character. So you really learn a lot from all of those experiences. Plus I grew up watching those shows. So it just felt so triumphant when I came home and was like, Mom, I'm in an episode of The Royal today. And, it's like champagne, sparklers. It was just the biggest thing, it was it felt like such a big victory for me.
And what would you say was the turning point? Because for me personally, I remember I was living in Canada at the time, but watching Dr. Foster on Netflix, and I remember Kate Parks. I remember you in that role, and just obviously see you later on. But you were so, you were fantastic. You really made an impact. But would you say was it a little bit earlier on, perhaps?
Oh gosh, I think every role contributes to something. I remember when I did 13, which was a 5-part one-off drama for BBC Three and BBC One, I think. And that was my first lead. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, and like really understanding what kind of comes with that. I mean, Dr. Foster was huge. It was crazy how much that really resonated with an audience. And I was really grateful, you know, coming back to the second season, that they explored Kate a little bit more, because in the first season I felt like she was integral to the story, but I had very little to dig my teeth into, you know. So it was great when we came back for the second season. And you know, I think like with any series, Mad Fat Diary did the same. When you play around with perspective and you give another character an opportunity to tell their side of the story, it always makes such a an interesting wave with the people who are watching it. So I was very, very grateful for that.
And you're obviously filming your, you know, the fourth and final season of Killing Eve, which has been just a huge part of your, you know, your career in TV, but just in general, isn't it? What were your sort of first impressions on that role, sort of rewinding a little bit, and how involved have you been in sort of developing the character as well? Because it feels as though Villanelle has really been on a journey the last few seasons.
Yeah, definitely. I remember getting the first episode and Phoebe's name being on the email, and I was just like, and I'd recently watched Fleabag, and I was just like, oh God, I have to do this. I want to do this. Like I have to get this role. And I remember emailing my agent, and I was like, I really want to get this. And she was like, yeah, me too. But like, you have to get it. Like you have to get it first. And I was like, yeah, I know. You know, and just knowing and witnessing how unique Phoebe was, and reading the script, and it just felt very fresh and exciting. But you know, we could have never predicted the journey that it went on and continues to go on, and you know, how it kind of was received in that first year was just so enormous. Like I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. You know, and it's what I'm so grateful for this show is it's really helped me find my own voice, in a sense of my instincts, what I like, what I dislike, what I feel is right for my character, without like being pretentious or you know, sometimes when actors are like, oh, my character wouldn't do that, and you're like, is that just you not wanting to do something, or would your character really not do that? You know, so just kind of witnessing that about myself. And also, you know, there's a beautiful part of the process of each year, the team brings in a new lead writer, and they're often you know, always women who are kind of relatively new, and it gives opportunity. And you know, and I've spent 4 years with her now, so I feel like I have a real good sense of who she is and where she's at, which just like makes for really interesting conversations. You know, the producers have always made it very clear that they want my input and my ideas, and you know, nothing's off limits. So it's really great, because it's a real collaboration when you can all sit around a table and feed off of each other and see what the best outcome is. You know, nobody's precious, which I think makes for a good way of working.